Hi, thanks for joining us for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. Sheet mulch can stop weeds and make your garden easier. Today we're going to show how to put it down. Also, strawberries are some of the earliest fruits. We'll be making some strawberry jam. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Walter Battle. Walter is a UT Extension Specialist, and Kathy Faust will be joining me later. Walter, always good to have you here.
Oh, so glad, happy to be here today.
Yeah, so we're out in the Family Plot Garden.
Yes, great place to be.
And we're going to talk about mulch, right?
Oh yes, mulch, something that's very, very, very important.
Okay.
And one of the things I would like to start with is to talk about the plastic type mulch.
Okay.
You know, these here are the artificial types. And basically what you have is a landscape fabric, which is pretty much just strands of plastic woven together.
Okay.
And then you can also have just the black plastic.
Just regular plastic. Okay.
Just and you can get any of these at any garden center or landscape supply dealer or whatever. But the main thing that we want this to do is stop weeds. That's that's the gardener's biggest enemy.
That's
is
right.
weeds.
That's right.
One of the big enemies, right?
Right.
So, and these do a great job if you want to go that route of preventing weeds.
Okay.
From messing with your crops.
Okay.
So this is a really good products that we're going to put down here, and just get started doing it. It's just one of those things you have to do.
Okay, yeah, and we refer to those as the sheet mulch.
Yeah, sheet
Yeah.
mulch.
Uh-huh.
Yes. That's the sheet mulch. And like I said, they're easy to plant into.
Yeah.
And also they work well with irrigation type things, because you can put those emitters or a hose where you want it to be.
Right.
So that you can water it. So a disadvantage in a sense, you can't just pour over the top, so to say,
Right.
but you can water underneath. And one big difference between these two is that this woven landscape fabric, it is porous.
Yeah.
So therefore, rain can get through.
That's good.
Where the black plastic sheet, you
Not
can't
so
get
much,
there.
yeah.
Not so much.
Yeah.
And also, I will tell you this, I will warn you that on this here, nut grass can get through.
Yes.
It can get through,
Yes,
but
yes.
hey, but you can manage it a lot easier
Yeah.
with it though than other ways. So yes, that's kind of what we use these products for. Really keep your garden nice and neat and clean.
Okay.
And that's what we like to see.
All right, so I guess you're going to demonstrate to us, how you actually lay it down?
Sure, absolutely. Usually I will pre-cut some of
Okay.
these. We're going to start with the plastic first, the sheet plastic first. And let me set this aside.
Okay.
And so let me kind of get this one started. Okay. And we'll just kind of,
Yeah, wherever you need me to be now.
yes, just go up there on that end,
Okay.
and we'll have to do some cutting.
All right. All right.
Yes. And we'll just set this out. We'll get it all nice and pretty
Yeah.
here once we get it laid out. And then, Chris, if you don't mind, we could, I would say set these down about every, I guess one every, foot or so,
Okay.
maybe 2 feet,
2 feet.
and we'll be fine. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of hold it tightly down here. So, Chris, one of the things I would like to do, since we have more than what we need, I like to tuck this under. Let's go maybe about a foot. And
You got it?
yes, And we'll
Probably
tuck
to that
this
crease
down.
right there.
Yeah, put this, and then when we tuck it, it would just, hold a lot longer. It would just be a lot better.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Pull your side. Yeah.
Okay. And let me get down there.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll tuck this in. Right there, I get that one.
You got that. I'm gonna put one right here.
Yeah, I put another one up. The reason you want to use these pins You know, it kind of helps with, control the wind, things like that, keep it from blowing up. And they really do a great job of really tying them down so that you can work. You want to be able to work in your bed without having a lot of problems. That should do it.
I think you got it. There's good?
Yes, that should have us down on the sides. And then we'll take care of these millings. Well, that one we finished up nice. So next we'll move to the landscape fabric. And what we will do, we will cut 2 strips here in order to cover this bed. And so let me unfold. It's kind of like Christmas time. See what we get when we unfold.
We get.
So if you hold that for me.
Okay. Open it up.
Okay. And we'll cut here in this crease. And that's the beauty of this product here. Just regular scissors can cut it. You don't have to have any special kind of shears or anything like that. We were doing pretty good. Let me catch you on this.
It's getting there.
And then we'll go right here.
There you go.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
And I'll set these aside here. So now we have our 2 sheets here. We'll just let this go to the side.
Okay.
And then since the wind wants to blow, that's the importance of the pins. We can overlap up there. Just keep pulling. Pull on to yourself. Okay. And we should be fine here. Pin this down. And let me bring you.
Yeah, I think we got that overlap pretty good too.
Yes, I think you got that one overlapped well.
Yeah.
Here you go. Just put 2 there. All right. So, of course, one of the big things with using plastic materials, of course, is disposal. And because you will have to, get rid of it at the end of the growing season. So it does become a bit of a problem. The thing about the woven plastic is you can reuse that for a couple of years. So that is kind of an advantage that they do have. The landscape fabric itself, you can reuse it.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
All right.
And then we get the other one.
Overlap a little bit?
Yeah, because we'll overlap and then we'll pin that down. Yes.
Yeah. You can almost
come your way.
To that green.
Yes, Move it up your way, keep moving, and we're good to go.
We're good?
Yeah, we may need to come over just a hair here.
Okay. Tuck it under here.
Okay. Okay, and we'll catch these 2 corners up here.
Okay.
I'll catch the corners down here.
Take it back this way.
Let's see here. About 3 to go down the middle, and I'll take care of the edge here.
Okay.
There you go. To tie those in, and we'll have it done.
All right. Then get down here. Doing like this.
All right. Well, we have that in.
All
and
right.
by the way, the University of Tennessee has an excellent publication on this gardening website. You can get it at UT Publications, and it's called Vegetable Gardening,
Okay.
in Tennessee. So just get that. It has an excellent guide to all the different types of mulches, including your artificial ones.
And we'll make sure to have that publication on our website so people can see it.
Good job.
All right. So, Walter, thank you so much. Next week, organic mulches.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's easy to be attracted to beautiful flowering baskets for summer color. Mandevilla is a great choice for it. It's a long season of flower with low maintenance. Watering is the real challenge for being successful with these hanging baskets often because they can dry out very quickly. Use your finger if you can reach the basket to test if that soil is starting to dry out, then water it again and water thoroughly, let it drain out of the bottom. If it's too high and you can't reach it, try lifting it with a broomstick to tell when it's light, it's thirsty. When it's heavy, that it probably doesn't need any more water. Also, as the season changes and you have more foliage and it gets hotter, you might need to have more water to it. And in reverse, as the days become shorter and nights begin to cool as we get toward fall, you may need to reduce those watering needs. Also remember that if you're doing that much watering in this small container, a good little fertilizer boost midsummer would be a great thing to do.
I love strawberries. Strawberries are my favorite. I can't wait to taste them. Ms. Kathy,
Okay,
you know
well,
that?
we'll go ahead and get started, Chris. As you know, we get a lot of calls around this time of year.
Okay.
I want to make strawberry jam, but I don't want to use the water bath. I just want to can them, put them in the freezer. So we did a little bit of research. All of these recipes call for a tremendous amount of sugar.
Okay.
And we're trying to cut down on our sugar. So I purchased this low sugar pectin, and we're going to make about less than 2 pints this morning, but you want to use your freshest strawberries possible, and the farmer's market is open, so you
That's
can
right.
get your fresh, beautiful strawberries at the farmer's market.
Or you can grow your own strawberries, which you've done
you
here.
can.
Yeah.
Yes, that you sure have. And go ahead and stem them and then mash them in a single layer using a potato masher.
Okay.
Now some people say, well, why can't you just put it in a blender? I'm afraid that if you puree the strawberries, it's like baby food. So we say that you just mash them with the potato masher, and we're going to put them in this small pot. Now I know you're thinking, she's not making very much jam. This is going to be less than 2 pints, but that's okay because I just wanted to demonstrate quickly how this works. So we're going to turn up our heat, and 1 1/3 cups of berries. That's what we
Okay,
have,
that's
1
what it
1/3
is.
cups of berries. And according to the pectin instructions, about 1 1/2 tablespoons of low sugar pectin.
And what does the pectin do, Ms. Kathy?
Oh, this is what causes the strawberry jam to gel.
Gel.
And sugar is also important in causing the strawberry jam to gel. So we're going to stir this. We're going to stir it constantly for about 1 minute. And it's going to take a little while for this to stir up, but we're going to stir this until it comes to a rolling boil for 1 minute. Now, let me tell you a little bit. I did some experimenting. The other day, I tried a recipe that said no boil strawberry jam. And I said, okay, that sounds easy. I ladled it into the jars, put it into the refrigerator, and the next day it looked like sugar. It was, and the recipe did call for a lot of sugar. And I thought, I'm going to save this jam. So I poured everything back into the pot.
Okay.
And I let the strawberries cook down for about 1 minute. Put it back in the jars, and it's beautiful. It is really, really
What a difference
pretty.
that made then.
It made a huge difference. And this was using about 5 cups of sugar to 3 cups of strawberries.
Wow.
So you see,
5 cups of sugar. Wow.
we have so many people with diabetes.
Right,
I don't want to tell them to go for this.
Right.
Then this, which is what we'll be sampling in a little bit, this is our low sugar pectin, and you see the difference between the two. You can tell this is a much
Sure
deeper
can.
red, and then this looks a little bit lighter. And we used, I think it was about 5 cups of sugar to 3 cups of berries for this.
Okay.
So we've got our sugar. We need to add our sugar after this comes to a rolling boil. But let's talk about some of the advantages in doing strawberry freezer jam. One advantage is it can be ready right away.
Okay.
And you know, whenever we're
good.
using the hot water, the water bath method, you have to seal the jars. If we're going to put these in the refrigerator or the freezer, you don't have to worry so much about the lids sealing, although we are heating the jars to 180 degrees so that they will seal.
Okay.
It's also, like we said, the berries seem to be fresher, they're a brighter color, easy to do. However, if we don't process this in a hot water bath, we're going to have to put them in the refrigerator for no longer than 3 weeks. So you've got to hurry up and eat it, or you can put it in the freezer for up to 3 months. Some people say, okay, now this is what, let's time it for 1 minute. Got to time it for 1 minute. Can you help me with that, Chris? I can barely see this. So we're going to let this boil for 1 minute. The disadvantage here is, who has that much freezer space? You know, you hate to open your freezer and say, see 24 cans of strawberry jam. What I have done with my previous batches, I gave it away immediately. You know, I just gave it away to friends and family.
Yeah, I like strawberries, but yeah, that's all, 24.
So you need a whole lot of room. So let's just go ahead, get this to cook down for 1 minute.
Okay, got about 30 seconds.
It says stir constantly. You don't want it to stick.
All right.
Okay, now if I were at home, I could adjust the heat a little bit better and it would be a hard rolling boil, but in the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the next step where we add 1/2 cup of sugar. So I've got 1 1/3 cups of berries, 1/2 cup of sugar. That still sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
But that's okay, because otherwise we would have a whole lot more than that.
And it's smelling good already.
Oh, I love the
can
way it
smell that.
smells. Yeah,
Goodness.
makes the kitchen smell really good. But you know what else we're going to add to it? Jelly and jam has a tendency to foam up.
Butter.
So I'm going to add like maybe 1/2 teaspoon.
Wow, that's a little bit of
Just
butter.
a tiny bit. And this should cut down on the foaming, because you don't want to have a jar of foam in your jam. Okay. Would you say it's come to another hard boil? I think it's boiling. Let's go ahead and start timing it 1 minute.
Okay. You got 5.
Okay, it's looking good.
All right.
Good, thank you.
Oh yeah, that's coming to a good boil.
Yeah, that's coming to a good boil. Excuse me, Tanya. Now we're going to take out our jars. Now remember, we said we had to heat our jars, because if we don't and you put that hot product in a cold jar, it will crack the jar. So we're just going to spoon this in.
Oh, Tanya, doesn't that smell good?
It does.
Oh, my goodness.
It's boiling away. And we want to leave about 1/2 inch of head space.
Okay.
If you go on YouTube, people use no head space, or they might use 1.5 inches, and we want to go ahead and use our bubbler. Get those air bubbles out. Now we have our lids that have been heated to 180 degrees. We're going to lift this off. Oh wait, I've got to wipe this first. Yeah, you have to wipe your lid. See, you don't want any residue
Okay.
on the lid. Okay. And then you put your lid on.
This is a real good lesson here.
And then you just screw this on fingertip tight.
Fingertip.
Yeah, fingertip tight. And we've got jam.
How about that?
Wow, that didn't seem hard at all.
Okay, and you see, it looks like the fruit has come to the top of the jar. So we're going to let this stand at room temperature until it's cool enough for us to put it in the refrigerator. And like we said, you can keep it in the refrigerator for 3 weeks, or your freezer up to 3 months.
Okay.
Now, many of the publications I've read have said you can keep it in the freezer up to 1 year. I don't think you can do that for the low sugar jam.
Okay.
Maybe you know, if we had a lot of sugar in this, but I would not use it for this jam.
Okay.
But since we have got some angel food cake, and I know someone had a birthday recently.
Ah, boy, that's right on time. How about that?
We're gonna have some birthday cake.
Tanya didn't know that was going to happen today, did she?
Did you know it was her birthday?
I did.
Yeah.
I sure did.
Okay. You get the first piece because you're the birthday
Thank
girl.
Oh,
you.
yeah, we
And
love
strawberry
Tanya
is my
that.
favorite.
Ah, see,
Yeah,
there
I
you go.
love
I
strawberries.
love
Oh,
strawberries.
I'm so
Absolutely
glad.
love strawberries.
Okay. Here we have this.
I can eat
Okay.
strawberries any time of the year, I
Yes,
tell
let
you.
that cool because it's very, very
Thank you
hot.
so much.
You are quite
Happy birthday,
welcome.
Tanya. What a
thanks.
surprise for you
Yeah.
today, huh?
I mean, Facebook is wonderful.
Yeah, keep up with
It's
everyone.
really good. We keep up with our friends. Okay, Chris, I'll cut a slice for you.
Oh, Mr. D is going to be so jealous.
Oh,
Yeah. thank you for that demonstration.
Oh, you're quite
That
welcome. It
tastes
was
good.
so easy.
Easy, it was quick. Tanya?
Thank you.
I may even have to try to make some in my kitchen.
Okay.
There you have it.
Get
Thank you
brave.
again, Miss Kathy.
You're quite welcome,
We appreciate
Chris.
that.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
What is this weed that's showing up in our pollinator garden? This is common vetch. Common vetch is an annual winter weed, has alternate leaf arrangements, also produces tendrils. Tendrils means that it likes to climb. As you can see here, it has a pod. Inside of this pod would be more weed seeds. And in early spring and summer, this plant will produce a purple flower. This plant can form a dense mass, so you definitely want to get it out. If you want to control it, a couple of different ways you can do that. Manually, I would just find the root system, and if you can, pull it up by the roots, all right? Because you really don't want to be spraying chemicals in your pollinator garden, vegetable garden, or any other garden for that matter. So if you can, pull it up by the roots. Look at that long tap root system there, right? Nice white fibrous root. Or if you have to, there's a chemical that you can use. It'll be a broadleaf weed killer. Read and follow the directions on that. But again, I would just pull it up. So, common vetch, annual winter weed. All right, Walter, this is our Q&A segment. You ready?
Oh, yes.
These are great questions. So here's our first viewer email. What are these bumps on the leaves of my walnut tree? And this is Linda from Atlanta, Georgia. So can we help her out with the bumps on the walnut leaves of that tree?
Well, there could be a couple of things.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to give the wrong answer first. But sometimes when you see these little galls and blisters on things, it's phylloxera.
Right,
Is what
right.
we see on some things.
Right.
But in this case, it's what?
Yeah, so it's going to be the walnut blister galls, right, which are actually caused by mites, so the Areophile mite.
Right.
Right, so it's feeding, of course, on the leaves, causes little bumps. Inside of those bumps will be little bitty mites.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So the thing about it is, this is on a walnut tree. It's not going to cause any damage.
No, they really don't affect much at all. So don't worry about that one at all. You're in good shape. You're in good shape.
I won't worry about any type of control,
Right.
any type of insecticide, anything like that. The tree, can withstand,
Yes.
that damage from the Areophile mites.
Yes.
Yeah, so the walnut blister galls caused by the Areophile mites. How about that?
That's
Yeah?
Hey, I tell you, a walnut tree, you get a blister named after you.
Yeah,
It's pretty
that's
good.
something. So Linda, we thank you for the question and for the picture. Thank you for the picture, appreciate that. Here's our next via email. Can coffee filters be composted? And this is Rick from Milford, New Jersey. That's actually a good question. So what do you think about that?
Typically, I would say yes.
Okay.
Particularly, if you know for sure that they're all paper. Just remember one thing: some of them do contain microfibers of plastic. If you're really getting into that right now.
Right.
But I don't see any reason why it couldn't be composted. I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't work either. My wife is a coffee drinker, right? So, they have the unbleached filters.
Okay.
Right. So the unbleached filters, of course, don't contain any chemicals, right? So those you can definitely compost.
Yes.
And what I would do with those, I would, tear them apart.
Yes.
Because the smaller you can get them, the quicker they can be composted.
Break down, that's right.
Break down to be composted, right? So they also have, I know because we've been looking for it, the bleached filters.
Yes.
Right. So the bleached coffee filters actually will contain some chemicals. So if you get your compost pile, of course, hot enough or whatever, that may work for you.
Yes,
but the
yes.
unbleached, definitely you can use.
Yes.
And then too, if you have the coffee grinds in the filter, you can use all of that together.
Use
Let's
all
talk about
that.
that.
So it's
Just use
kind
it
of a
together.
win-win situation.
Right.
All the way around.
All the way around, yeah. Use it all together, and that'll be a nitrogen, fixer.
Yes.
For the soil for those plants. Yeah. So can you compost coffee filters? Yes.
Yes.
You can, but look for the unbleached kind. Tear them up into the smaller pieces because they break down faster. Rick, thank you. That was a good question. We appreciate that. All right. Here's our next viewer email. Where's the best place to plant fig trees? And this is Sam from Byhalia, Mississippi. He says he's been told to plant on the south side of a house or building. All right. So we appreciate that question from Sam. So what do you think about that?
Well, Sam has been told correct.
All right. Yeah.
And the main thing is, you know, as long as they're in full sun, that's where they like to be, in full sun anyway. And obviously on the south side of a property, it's going to be warmer there as well. So I think he's in pretty good shape there with that.
Yeah, I think Sam was in good shape. Yeah, so you want to plant it to where it gets 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. I hope you have good drainage in that area. Give it a little space.
Yes.
Right, you're going to need some space. And I think it's going to be fine.
Yes.
You know, south side protected from the cold winter winds. You know, and then I will select these 2 varieties though. Celeste,
Okay.
brown turkey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
down there in Byhalia, Mississippi. Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the varieties I would select, Sam, and I think you'd be good. So yeah, give it all the sun that it needs. South side of the building, it works. It works.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Sounds like a winner to me. You're gonna have a lot of figs, that's for sure.
That's correct.
All right, Sam, we thank you for that question. All right, Walter, that was fun as always, man. Fun as always. Thank you much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email or letter. The email address is questions@familyplotgarden.com. And the mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee, 38016. Or you can go online to familyplotgarden.com. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about anything we talked about, head on over to familyplotgarden.com. Be sure to join us next week for the Family Plot Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.